Hey everyone, Andregats here and welcome back to my channel! Today we are finally diving into all the juicy info about Midnight and there is so much to talk about. We've got stunning new and old zones, interesting storylines, a completely revamped Silvermoon city, the Harronir stepping in as a brand new allied race, exciting housing updates, Transmog changes, and so much more. So stick around as we break down everything we know so far from Gamescom. And by the way, keep an eye out for part 2 because, well, there is simply too much to cover in one single video and I want to bring you the most up-to-date info instead of just repeating what everyone else has already said. With that said, let's get right into it! First of all, let me just say this, if you've been hanging out on my streams, you already know I'm over the moon about this expansion and maybe I'm a little biased. I started my WoW journey as a Blood Elf priest, wandering through Eversong woods and ghostlands for way longer than I care to admit. Now the thought of going back there with modern tech and updated visuals, well, that's a dream come true for me. This place holds so much nostalgia and I honestly think this might be the best expansion yet. Well, for me. So how does the expansion kick off? Well, Midnight raises the level cap to 90 and we begin right at the heart of the action, defending the Sunwell from Xal'ata's forces. Yeah, that cinematic we all saw and I'm sure you all love it. That's where it all starts, after what seems to be a successful defense against the Void, well, at least for the day. Our journey takes us straight into the first zone, Eversong Woods, completely rebuilt from the ground up and expanded to include the Ghostlands and the Isle of Quel'Danas. And let me tell you, it's everything you will hope for. The visuals are fully modernized, the foliage looks gorgeous, and yeah, you can finally fly here. Since they've merged 3 zones into one massive expanded area, there is even more room to soar through the skies and explore every corner of this iconic region. The areas look fully healed from the scars Earth has left behind, but maybe that healing went a little too far. The dead scar is completely gone, yes, but in its place something new has taken root, a magical overgrowth called the Light Bloom. Apparently there is so much light infused into the land that it's actually giving rise to strange, unnatural life. Eversong Woods is absolutely breathtaking, but as you explore you'll come across some unsettling spots and even some voidy areas too. It's actually confirmed that a very helpful bronze dragon, most likely Zidormi, will show up somewhere in this new expanded Eversong Woods, letting us travel back to the legacy version of this zone. In extent, that also means Ghostlands and I'm guessing the Isle of Quel'Danas. Once you finish the Eversong campaign, you'll get to choose your next destination, either Zul'aman or Harandar. You can tackle the zones in any order and once you have completed both, along with an additional chapter that takes you on a journey with Arator, more on that in a bit, you'll head into the grand finale, the Voidstorm. I mean, what would a Void expansion be without a massive Void touch zone? But we'll get there. For now, let's take a closer look at what makes these new zones so exciting, starting with Harandar. Harandar is the homeland of the Harronir, the mysterious race we only got a glimpse of during the War Within. Well, and rightfully so, they kept them secret because now we are ready to learn more about them. Now we are stepping right into their hidden domain and breathtaking bioluminescent jungle built around the roots of the world trees. Everything here thrives with glowing life, and as you dive deeper you'll uncover the Harronir's connection to the earth and their goddess. Even devs are being quite secretive about where Harandar is actually located in Azeroth, but this is where the roots of the world trees all intertwine, a place deeply connected to the history of Azeroth. So yeah, essentially Harandar feels like a secret world tucked away from reality and that's what Harronir are trying to preserve. And at the start of Midnight, our mission is to convince them that the fight against Xal'atath is a fight worth fighting. It turns out that at some level we did actually succeed in convincing them, as it is confirmed that we unlock them as a brand new allied race. More on that in just a bit, and yeah, we did learn some of their racials as well. And let me tell you, they are really cool. But first, let's get back to Harandar, and more specifically, an important character we met in the War Within, Orowina. Yep, she will play a key role here and we'll learn more about her story. She's actually one of the youngest Harronir. There is like elders, wise elders, and Orowina. Living hair people was a huge deal because, well, they usually like to keep to themselves. I mean, fair enough, we players do have a tendency to create a bit of chaos wherever we go. Orowina, however, was following the call of her goddess, which led her to venture far from her homeland and eventually brought her to us in the Ringing Deeps. Arator itself is built around the twisted roots of the wall trees, which apparently all converge here in a pocket-like area, not directly connected to anything else. Harronir are able to travel through these routeways to get around the world, and thus preserving their secretive way of life. You'll also find really cool spots here, like for example the Rift of Al, where horrific creatures emerge, and the Den of Echoes, where the history is told through paintings, and we can apparently interact with those paintings and learn more about the Harronir and their past. Once we have proven ourselves, the Harronir will join our ranks as a new allied race, playable by both the Horde and the Alliance. They're absolutely stunning, combining elven elegance with a primal twist, and some even say that they do have a bit of a dark troll in them. They come with ton of customization, like quills in one or both shoulders, really cool face and body markings. They can also be 9 different classes, including Hunter, Mage, Monk, Priest, Rogue, Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior, and obviously druids with unique forms like a quillbat and a pangolin. We recently got some exciting new deeds about their racials from an interview Mr. GM did, and honestly, their kit sounds really fun. Of course, this is a pre-alpha state, so things might still change, but here's what we know so far. They'll have an active ability that lets you target an area and summon these clever, enveloping roots that heal allies and damage enemies within the area. On top of that, they'll have innate bonuses like increased critical strike on damage and healing, plus extra damage to aberrations and elementals, as well as taking a little less damage from them. I think what's really interesting is the fact that they can also fast travel between the roots of the wall trees. Some of these rootway points will be available from the start, while others you'll need to unlock as you progress. Their starting experience is expected to feel quite similar to how Earthen is, so you'll get to learn more about their culture as you level through it. While we still have things to learn about them, there is one more thing I want to point out. Their unique connection to the earth is reflected in their use of bioluminescence, which illuminates their armor, weapons, and skin markings with a soft, eerie glow which looks absolutely awesome. So yeah, I cannot wait to see some alpha footage and see how they actually look in-game. Alrighty, let's move on to the other zones. So from the glowing jungles of Harandar, let's move on to Zul'aman, which is now a fully fledged zone and not just an instance tucked away in the Ghostlands. This is where we finally learn more about the Amani trolls. For so long, we've actually seen them as enemies. We did fought them before, but here we are getting their perspective. The Amani are a proud race of forest trolls who fought fiercely to claim their land, even going up against other powerful troll tribes like the Zandalari. Once a great empire, they've now just a shadow of their former glory. Over time, they've lost touch with their Loa and have been struggling ever since the conflicts with the Blood Elves. The zone really reflects that history, as an ancient forest filled with towering trees, rain-soaked mountains, has also crumbling temples dedicated to the Loa. And of course, the Void is creeping in, making the whole place feel tense and quite unpredictable. We'll even meet Zuljara and Zul'jan, the grandchildren of Zul'jan himself. After his death in TBC, leadership has been, unstable, but now Zuljara leads as the chieftain with her brother as her advisor. Still, to this day, the Amani don't really get along with the Blood Elves, so we're gonna be tasked with helping them to fight against the Void. So yeah, if you are a fan of forest trolls, I'm sure you're gonna love Zul'aman. Also, regarding the Amani trolls, during his interview, Mr. GM asked if we'll ever be able to play as them. While the devs didn't give a straight yes, they didn't rule it out either. They said it's something that could happen in the future. But here's the cool part, they tease new cosmetics for Darkspear trolls. It seems that completing the Zul'aman campaign will unlock some awesome customization options, maybe even those extravagant Amani hairstyles. Like I mentioned before, this time around, in addition to the main zone chapters, there is an extra one you'll need to complete before heading into the final zone. It isn't tied to any specific zone, instead it focuses on Arator, taking us back to some legacy zones where he interrogates the light. I mean, I don't really know what does interrogating the light mean. I mean, how can one interrogate the light? But let's put that aside for a bit. Arator, the son of Valyria and Turalyon, has mostly stayed in the background since, well, his introduction during the TBC. But in Midnight, he's stepping into the spotlight complete with a custom new model and is the main character of the prequel novel called Blood Ties. Gotta say, I'm not really a huge fan of the mohawk hairstyle they give him. Hopefully that changes. Other than that, yeah, I mean, he kinda seems like a solid pal. In this chapter, Arator takes us to some of the older iconic places in Azeroth like Light's Hope Chapel, Stratholme, and a few other interesting locations. He's basically trying to better understand his connection to the light, and yeah, it looks like we'll get to explore that journey with him. Honestly, I think this is great news because it gives us a little break from all the voidy stuff going on, and from Valyria too. Valyria swore an oath to hand down Xal'atath, so yeah, we will definitely keep seeing her story unfold. Turalyon is definitely going to have plenty of story tied to the Army of Light, but it's nice to see their son stepping up and taking the reins for a change. Once we are done with the zones and Arator's campaign, our final destination will be Voidstorm, where we'll take the battle to Xal'atath's stronghold. This zone turns the void dial all the way up to 1000. Voidstorm is chaos incarnate, a brutal, ever-shifting landscape where creatures fight to consume and grow stronger. Some of the stronger void creatures we'll deal with, these so-called Dominar, have developed their own hierarchy of dominance and are very intelligent. Of course, Xal'atath and her cultists seem to be a part of this group. It's honestly such a cool place to explore, but at the same time, it should really terrify us. Everything here should be considered as an enemy. Everything here is so hungry that will eat you up, even if it's a cute tiny beast. All of these zones will of course come with delves, dungeons, and raids, and let me tell you, there's a lot to be excited about. Delves are back and better than ever, with 10 brand new ones spread across the zones. Plus, there is an extra Nemesis Delve, most probably located in the Voidstorm, though they didn't really reveal who's gonna be the new Nemesis. A huge quality of life change is actually that this time we'll even get to mount up, at least on some of these delves, which is, yeah, I think it is really nice. We'll also bid farewell to Bran, and as a new Delve companion we'll get the legendary rogue Valyria Sanguinar. She will aid us in many of the same ways Bran did, but let's be honest, she's going to look amazing while doing so. Here's hoping we don't end up hating her by the end of Midnight, cause yeah, that will be really bad. The good news is, if you're enjoying Delves, they're actually trying to integrate them into the story this time. So between the main campaign chapters, we might be asked to run a Delve or two. And honestly, I think that's great. It makes the system feel like a core part of the expansion, rather than just a side activity. And yes, Delves are here to stay as a solo or group activity, but that's not all. There's plenty of exciting new content for players who prefer group play and want the best gear possible. Midnight is launching with 8 dungeons, some revamped and some completely brand new. I'm not going to dive too deep into this here because I'm saving that for another video, especially as we learn more about Mythic Plus and the dungeon rotation. But here's something huge. Season 1 isn't just bringing one raid, not even 2, but 3 separate raids, each with a different setting for a total of 9 bosses split among them. The first one is Voidspire, set in Voidstorm, with 6 bosses. Then there is Dream Rift, a 1 boss raid located in Harandar, and finally, for a final showdown, we return to the gates of Silvermoon for the March on Quel'Danas, where it seems we'll be defending the Sunwell for once more in a 2-boss raid. I think having 3 raids is such a bold and refreshing approach. We've seen smaller raids in the past, but it's been a long time since Blizzard tried something like this. What's even better is you'll be able to jump into any of these raids in any order as soon as they are available. No weird unlocking requirements. As for the raid schedule, it seems Voidspire and Dream Rift will launch at the start of the season, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, we'll see the release of the March of Quel'Danas. The exact schedule doesn't seem to be final as it is, but that is the plan so far. Honestly, I'm so here for it. I think it's going to keep things fresh and exciting as they roll out in the first season. Anyway, Anyway, let's talk about something I am personally hyped for, and that's Silvermoon. Silvermoon is back and it's newly rebuilt, better and bigger than ever, with improved visuals and new areas to explore. I'm also quite satisfied to see the walking brooms, by the way. Thank God they did not forget about them, because I will be really disappointed if they did. So Silvermoon is back and it's going to be our main hub for the Midnight expansion. Horde players are actually going to feel right at home here, but Blizzard is setting aside a small section of the city as a sanctuary for Alliance players. I really like this approach because, let's be real, this is a Horde capital and it should feel like one. Alliance players will feel more like guests, which makes sense from a story perspective. That being said, I don't think Silvermoon will remain the main hub for the entire expansion, maybe for a season or two, but eventually they'll try to make things even. Still, this is such an exciting chance to explore more about the Blood Elf culture, whether you are Horde or Alliance. And it's not just a city update, it ties deeply into the story. The Sunwell is at the heart of this expansion because, Xal'atath wants its power, and that brings the conflict between the Void and Light front and center. And not just on cosmic level, but in personal ways too. Blood Elves are not the only elves that are getting attention in Midnight. We'll see Umbric and the Void Elves finally getting their moment. Having been banished from Silvermoon and their king, Umbric is trying to pull his people together and will have a lot to contribute in our efforts against the Void. While having the Void hint is what got them exiled in the first place, at least they'll have valuable knowledge in the war against the Void. Of course, not everyone is thrilled to see the Void Elves. Tensions are rising between them and the Army of Light. And yes, it has been confirmed that the army of paladins we see being summoned through the Sunwell and answering Lady Leandra's prayers is 100% the army of light. Even among allies, extremes of light and void create friction, and we're going to see that tension play out in some really interesting ways. Now let's move on to one of the biggest talking points in Midnight, player housing. And here's the exciting part, we'll actually be able to create our own home as early as patch 11.2.7, the final patch of the War Within. The only requirement is to pre-purchase Midnight, but even if you don't, you can still start collecting furniture and decorations as soon as 11.2.7 rolls out. At Gamescom we even saw 2 creator housing showdowns, and oh boy, we did learn a lot. And I know you are about to skip to the next part because you are tired of hearing about housing, but here's something new, and I was particularly relieved when I heard about it. So if you've been playing WoW for a while and earned achievements or done all content, you'll start with a solid collection of decor items right away. You can expect house items to drop just like any other cosmetic would, like mounts and pets. You might be able to buy them from a hidden vendor or get them as a drop from a boss or something else. They did say that they don't really want to lock the best decorations behind overly difficult activities, but you can expect things like, let's say, Onyxia's head as a reward for killing her, which kinda makes sense. And here's another awesome feature conferred by Annie after the house showcase. You'll be able to import housing layouts from other players, similar to how talent loadouts work. This is seriously amazing, as if I manage to create, let's say, a beautiful, really cool house, then you can copy it as well. If you can afford Midnight now, I highly recommend pre-ordering it so you can start creating your home as early as patch 11.2.7. This way, if you grab it now, by the time Midnight launches, you could already be chilling in your fully decorated home. Furthermore, in one of their shorts, they tease that you can bring NPCs as well to your house. So I'm wondering, can I, for example, have Wrathion to watch out for any intruders? Or, I don't know, a Nightborn guard? Before we wrap up, there is another big update worth talking about, and it has to do with Transmog. There was some confusion at first, but things seem to be a bit more clear now. Transmog in Midnight will not be free like some people assumed, but is switching to a slot-based system instead of item-based. If you are wondering, okay Andre, what does that tell me? Well, if you want to completely change your outfit, it will still cost gold. But if you love your current look and just upgrade one piece, say your shoulders, you won't have to pay to reapply the transmog. I think that's a huge quality of life improvement, especially when it comes to leveling or gearing up. And it gets even better. To make this system even more valuable, automatic outfit swapping is coming. You'll be able to set outfits to automatically change based on where you are in the world. Like for example, if you're relaxing at home, you'll wear something more lightweight, a comfy outfit. And then when you're going out in the world, let's say getting into a raid, you'll suit up, instantly switching to a full battle armor. I mean, how cool is that? We'll see how far they take this feature, but so far it does sound amazing. It opens up so many fun possibilities. Personally, I still wish they just made Transmog completely free, but for now, I'll take this. Yeah, this is way better than what it is now. And honestly, this is just the start of what Midnight has to offer. In my next video, we are diving into the new Void-themed Demo Hunter spec called Devourer, the new Apex talent traits, a full look at dungeons and raids, and whatever else we learn from the developer panel. Trust me, you don't want to miss it, so make sure you are subscribed to my channel and hit the bell to stay up to date. As always, thank you so much for sticking around until the very end, and make sure to drop a like if you have found this video helpful. Good luck with whatever you are doing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!